Hey man, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing pretty good. Thank you for asking.
Hey,
Okay.
so go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So before we get started, I guess, can you just introduce yourself for people who may not know you?
Yeah. My name's Dash Brackin. I'm a freshman, and I go to Carrollton. It's in Georgia. I run a 15:05 5K for cross country, 9:20 in the 3200, and 4:23 in the 1600. Those were my season openers for track season, and then I got injured. So
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be a little bit weird. I've usually only interviewed some seniors, mainly college guys, some pros.
yeah, I saw you
So
did
I'm
one with
pretty excited.
you just did one with Parker Wolf.
Yeah, I did that earlier today actually.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay. So I guess I'll start by asking kind of when and how you started running.
So I kind of always just, when I was little, I was just a really active kid, like before I was in school and everything. And then my sister ran. She's 9 years older than me, so she was probably, I don't know, I guess a freshman in high school. And she was pretty good. I think she was in like the low 19s in the 5K, so she wasn't great, but she was a decent runner. And I started with the rec department at Carrollton when I was in first grade. And still remember my first race. I ran I think it was a six. It was something in the sixes for the 1600.
Oh, that's kind of crazy as a first grader, I'm not gonna lie.
I was a dog, bro.
Yeah, I guess so. So you kind of always found like success from, I guess, a young age. How do you think that's kind of like influenced your mindset as you went on? Like, do you think that made it easier to stay motivated?
It's made it easier to stay motivated, and it's also made it harder to stay motivated because when you
Hmm.
transition levels, uh, it wasn't terribly hard for me this year transitioning from middle school to high school. But middle school, I mean, no shade to my competitors because these guys are really good, but I didn't have too much competition in middle school, so I wasn't used to getting beat. And then I show up to the Hoya 2 mile, and that's my first race of the season, and I was immediately just everybody on the field had a gap on me, and I was in probably maybe 25th place at 200 meters in. I was just shocked to see that high school is high school how fast high school is.
Yeah, I mean, people get out real fast. I think you ended up finishing higher than 25th though at that meet,
Yeah, I think
right?
I'm third.
Okay. So like still, for me, I don't have like any fast twitch. So when I get off the line, I mean, I'll be in like on the 3200, I'll get out behind some kids who are running like 10:30. I'll just slowly be moving up past them,
I'm
and
this.
some
I
gets pretty
struggle.
annoying sometimes.
Yeah, the speed's hard. I got a really good aerobic engine, and I'm pretty strong threshold wise.
Hmm.
That speed is what gets me in the speed reserve. I feel like I'm not as comfortable at a high speed, which is probably why my 800 isn't so good. But you
Yeah, I mean aerobically I'm there, and then my 800 is like the same as my mile pace,
know.
so it's kind of interesting. But yeah, so when would you say you started taking running like serious? Like you started like motivating most of your devoting most of your time to the craft.
There's different levels. I feel like I got good in third grade, and I feel like I started really grinding and like getting down to it in seventh grade, and that's when I started dropping pretty solid times. I think I ran 4:43 in the 1600 in seventh grade, and then but this year is when I've started to really start logging in higher mileage weeks, running 6 days a week consistently. And having more of a structured plan. In middle school, I had a plan, but I was a little more just willy nilly with it.
Okay. So how has your training progressed from, let's say, seventh grade to now? Like mileage wise, workout wise?
So seventh grade, easy runs were not as big of a piece. Now easy runs are how it should be. It's a large chunk of my training. In seventh grade, I'd kind of just get out there. I'd rip like two, maybe three real hard workouts a week. I'd have like two track workouts and a tempo run. Um, Depending on what type of part in the season I was. If it was the beginning, I'd do probably two tempo runs and then a track workout. and everything in the middle was just easy runs, or sometimes I take an off day. I'd probably run about 5 days a week then, but my easy runs would only be 3 miles maybe.
Hmm.
But I was grinding on those track workouts. I remember one day I just went absolutely crazy, and my splits weren't incredible, but I think it was 16 by 400. My splits were probably between 70 and 75 the whole time. And then I specifically remember I dropped a 66 final lap. Uh,
Hmm.
Pretty proud of that after doing 15 400s before that. So I was doing some pretty substantial workouts, but my mileage was really low. And so I think that's where a big change now is that my mileage has increased a good bit. I do a lot of we're very aerobically fit. Like our team as a whole, we really focus on that aerobic side of things, and the speed kind of takes care of itself.
Okay. So when you were in seventh grade, obviously you had a decent bit of comp with guys like Riley Comstock and some of those guys. So how was it like kind of filling into their shoes once you moved up to eighth grade? Because you kind of just replaced Riley in a way, like being that top guy that like no one's really competitive with even.
Yeah, I mean it was different. I feel like Riley had more people around him. He had all those guys in that group, like even just his teammates. He had
Hmm.
Waiters, Ruben Ramirez, which I had Camp Jennings. He's great. He placed second at state. We went 1 and 2. But I feel like Riley had more guys within 10 seconds of him than anybody. So he had people who could at least push him for a little bit. I didn't have too much of that. Um, I had James Strange, Camp Jennings, Whit Wyndham. All those guys well, they're still great runners, and so it was cool. And I felt like I was any meet I'd go to, and Riley had the meet record there from the year before. It was always really interesting to chase it because it's chasing the ghost of somebody you know. It added a little
Yeah,
competitive aspect. So I always had a goal coming into every race. I'd see, oh, Riley ran, 4:31 at this meet, so I'm going to try to run 4:31.
yeah.
It didn't necessarily happen. Riley was a dog. Those times are crazy, dude. But
Okay. So what was like your goal or mindset going into this season, this cross country season, more specifically, I guess?
going into cross country, my overall goal was I wanted to place top 3 at state, and at some point I wanted to break 15 in the 5K. I placed second at state, and I ran 15:05 in the 5K. So I came short of my time goal, but I showed up at state and I placed well. Um, so I'm proud of the way I came out with the season.
Mhm.
Uh, Track season, you know, it got cut short for injuries and mental reasons. But my goal coming into track season, I wanted to break 4:10 and break 9 minutes in the 3200, which is a fairly large step up from trying to break 15. But my training was going really well during the winter, and I felt that I had something going for me. So
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, at the beginning of my off season, I thought I was about to drop some crazy times. I went on the ski trip for a spring break. After that, I just haven't felt fit. Or I still feel fit. It's just not been the same. So I kind of understand where you're coming from, where you're just like you're
yeah,
doing all this stuff, you're feeling really good, and it kind of just like drops off.
I hadn't ran for about 5 weeks.
Mhm.
Uh, and last Monday, I came back to running, and I only had 3 miles easy, and we were just running with the team, probably going. I was running with my teammates, and I think we were going about 7:10, maybe 7:15
Mhm.
mile pace, and my heart rate was in the 200s the whole time.
Oh.
It was awful, which I'm getting back down. Like
Mhm.
today, I did the same thing for 6 miles, and my heart rate was I think 170 something, which is high, but considering the heat and considering I'm out of shape, it's not terrible. I should be back to where it'll be in the 150s or something like that soon. So that's good.
Okay. So did you do any cross training while you were injured?
I did, and I'm not sure if that calls more towards my IT band because I biked like a maniac for a while.
Mhm.
One day I was on the bike for 3 hours. That was mad respect to bikers because those
Yeah.
just staring at a wall on the Peloton, just biking for that long, it gets hard.
Mhm. Yeah. I
Mental.
remember like people think biking's easy, but I did like a triathlon a while back. I was doing good in the swim. I was out there. Dropped about Lita went like 30 minutes ahead of me on the bike, and then I like started closing on the run, but it was too late. So I
The
mean,
bike
it's
is
crazy.
so mentally challenging because you're not, especially on a stationary bike on my Peloton, you're just
Hmm.
moving. You're just cranking your legs and you're just
Yeah,
you're just sitting there.
it's painful.
Yeah. One
Okay, so it's your
days
season. Oh, sorry.
one of those days I watched two Star Wars movies.
I mean, at least you're staying entertained.
It's hard.
Yeah. Okay, so is your season completely over? Are you planning to go like running lane or any postseason?
No, I don't think it would be smart to do that. Region or our regional is tomorrow, and I'm just not fit for that. Running lane, and we were going to do what is the Midtown Mile in Atlanta. Um, those two were going to be our two postseason races, but I've opted out of those two. So now we're more focused on the build towards cross country season, try to build up that strength so I don't get injured again. I think that was part of the reason why I got injured.
So do you do any strength training?
No, that's probably going to be that was my sort of my goal coming into track season is to
Mhm.
get more just to get stronger, and I'm going to try to start working on that now, especially now
Mhm.
that I have this time away from racing. I don't have to worry about, oh, I'm going to show up to race and be sore. So now I get that chance to just take a step back and worry about making sure my body is fully prepared for when I start hammering these harder workouts in late August and mid September.
Okay. So how do you think that build is going to look like for you? Like, is there a certain mileage you're going to be try hitting this summer? Are you going to any altitude camps? Anything like that?
I won't be going to any altitude, but in mileage wise, it varies. I mean, there's no real. I don't really have an exact number in my head of where we're
Yeah.
going to try to
Just
hit.
listen to coach.
Yeah, we're gonna have to feel it out and see what I'm capable of.
Okay. So you guys, have you thought about like your future as a team wise? Because I mean, if you look at Carrollton, you guys have like I don't even know how many freshmen who are like solid runners, let alone like your top three. I think were freshmen at all under 16, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, we're really we're really freshman heavy. It sucks because we're gonna lose. He was bounced back and forth between our number three and our number four guy. He was a senior, but other than that, we don't lose anybody in our top seven. So that's a really positive sign to see that we're gonna keep moving up. And next year we're gonna be looking forward to a state championship. Year after that, we're gonna be looking for a state championship, maybe an NXR uh, championship, and then senior year, who knows? It's really far down
Mhm.
the line, but we like to shoot, we like to aim high, and a national title would be incredible. It's gonna
Mhm.
be hard, but we have a lot of talent, we have a lot of work ethic, and we have a great coach. So
Mhm.
those three factors, if you have those three things, you're bound for success. How much
Yeah.
have? I mean, we'll just have to see.
Yeah. So as like a runner, like are you like focusing on more quality of calories or quantity? I guess is the best way to put that.
What do you mean?
So are you focused more on like getting healthy food or just as much food as you can eat?
Oh, I mean, I'm not very focused on my diet. I
Mhm.
try to I eat relatively clean. I don't really eat any junk food. Well, I say that, but I did eat Reese's yesterday, but it was Easter, so I'll give myself.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, I don't eat I don't eat unhealthy, but I don't eat super clean. I'm not, and I don't take any supplements. Uh,
Hmm.
except I did for my IT band. I can go pull it up. I don't know how to pronounce this stuff. Uh, mellow, Exicam, maybe? Whatever. That's the only real pill I've ever taken or anything like that. I don't feel like I need any extra nutrition. I think I get just about everything I need out of my diet. This base right here was basically just just a beefed up ibuprofen. But
Okay.
back to my diet. Uh, I just eat a typical breakfast for me would be probably a glass of milk, a banana, a kind bar, and then some sort of something a little more protein heavy. Occasionally it'll be a protein shake. Other times it'll just be, another protein bar.
Yeah. Okay. So out of all three meals of the day, what's your favorite meal?
Ooh, probably dinner.
Dinner.
Yeah, because it's fully cooked. Like a lot of my breakfast is kind of prepackaged stuff. Sorry, I keep getting,
Hmm. Are you
but
good?
yeah.
What's your favorite dinner and pre-race dinner?
Ooh. Favorite dinner overall would probably be a steak. If you go to a nice restaurant and get a steak, you can't go wrong
Hmm.
with that. Pre-race, I bounce all over the place with my pre-race stuff. Generally, it's some sort of pasta. Um, like a lot of times we'll have a little team dinner. I usually eat pasta. I don't know. I don't have any superstitions, but usually, I guess usually a chicken Alfredo.
Okay. Yeah, I'm more of a breakfast guy, but I don't mind some pasta night before the race.
Excuse me.
But yeah. So obviously going into this next season, you're gonna be ranked as one of the top guys. So like as a sophomore, how do you think like that pressure of being like do you think you feel like pressure being so young and also being so competitive with so many guys?
I mean, the pressure is there, but I don't stray away from pressure. Um,
Hmm.
I think pressure it's gonna be there, and you're gonna put pressure on yourself. I'm gonna put pressure on myself. I know it leading into races and stuff, but
Hmm.
I don't know. For the most part, I think it's just I'm there to win. My competitors are there to win. So whoever comes out on top, that's just how it works. So there's pressure, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let it consume me.
Yeah, I could see. I feel like it could also be easier when you're already like you're running these times that are solid. You could already go to most colleges like you want. For me, I'm still just thinking about like chopping as much time down as possible to
Yeah.
get like recruiting times and stuff like that.
I do think I'm glad well, I can't, I don't want to jinx anything, so knock on wood, but I hope I'll be in a position where I get to choose whichever college I
Mhm.
want, and I'm not going to have to worry about hitting recruitment standards and stuff
Yeah,
or fighting for a scholarship spot. But, yeah, I guess that is a good thing, which no colleges can speak to me yet.
yeah. So, have you thought about college at all? Like where you may want to go?
I've thought about it a little bit. I haven't put too much thought into it. But if I know the question you're about to ask is where I'd go. Um, I guess my top choice would probably be UNC,
Hmm.
but um, it's in the South. It's not too far away, so UNC would be a good pick. Being in the Southeast kind of hurts because number one, there's no good colleges in Georgia, and then there's not too many great running programs in the Southeast outside of Alabama. But I don't have any
Yeah.
too much interest in going to Alabama.
It'll be you, Jackson Hogshead, and a bunch of Kenyans.
Yeah, exactly.
So that would be interesting. I guess you could be with Tommy. They have a great squad when you're a freshman too.
Yeah, definitely.
Got Joe Barrett, Jack Bowen, a bunch of guys like that.
Who else did they just get? They got
They
what's
just
the
got one more guy.
Caden Leonard from Texas.
Oh, that's true.
Or
Caden's a dog, so
yeah,
he's something special. Like that would be a squad.
yeah.
Have you looked at any like who do you think's gonna win NCAA cross next year?
I don't know. I don't keep up too much with NCAA,
Hmm.
But yeah, I really don't know, honestly.
Okay.
Who are your picks?
So for me, I feel like next year is gonna be close. Colorado should be up there. They had
Yeah.
so many recruits this year, and you just can't count out BYU ever in cross because
BYU losing a lot of guys, though, aren't they?
yeah, but a lot of the guys, well, maybe I think
I
it'd
don't,
be easier to say in the next 4 years too.
yeah. They'll probably have a whole new group of 30-year-olds coming out and
Yeah, Daniel Simmons will come back from his mission being like 35, something like that.
ridiculous.
He's actually in Atlanta right now.
Really? Oh,
That's what.
I heard about that. Like he's on his mission in Buford or whatever.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I think like 4 years time, Washington, UNC, Colorado, Stanford are going to be like the teams. I think Washington, not so much in cross country. I think they'll be good, but I don't think they're going to be like one of the top teams.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine that. Washington's a good program. They're
Hmm.
historically pretty good too. Um,
Yeah.
Stanford's weird. I feel like Stanford is just kind of they're
Hmm.
they've been great in the past. They've also been okay in the past.
Yeah.
Just
I feel like they produce better athletes than a team. If
yeah,
that makes.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And they have a lot of really good alumni. I mean, look at Grant Fisher. Grant Fisher was
Yeah.
he was still great in college, but after college is when he really excelled. Some of these others
Yeah.
don't produce too many good distance runners outside of college. Like look at Arkansas; they haven't
Mhm.
produced anybody. I don't know if Alabama has either, or at least any.
Yeah. So I think the problem with that is they're making them run like 100, 110 miles a week
Yeah,
plus, and just making them peak in college, and not really like setting up workouts for them to succeed later on.
yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, and that's why I think a lot of guys are going to UNC because from what I've heard, the coaches really set up more on long term than instant
Yeah,
success.
named Chris Miltenberg.
Yeah.
I see him pop
So,
up on my TikTok for you page sometimes.
oh really? That's pretty cool. So obviously, I'm gonna switch it up a little bit now and ask more would you rather questions, kind of like that. First, starting with cross country or track.
It's the hardest question to answer. Judging by how this year went, cross country. I prefer
Hmm.
cross country meets too. The just the vibes of cross country meets nice. You're not sitting in the bleachers all day.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely prefer cross country too. I mean, I'm just a lot better at it, so it makes it easier
Yeah,
to like. Because then I'll be beating Levi in every cross country meet we race. I'll drop 20 seconds on my head in a 16 then. So it's kind of brutal, but it's okay. And then next question is three random facts about you.
random facts. Oh, um, this is gonna make me sound boring. I don't do too much outside of running. Um, hmm. Well, I'm pretty good in school. I guess that's a random fact. Um, dude, I don't really know. I play the violin. No, I'm kidding. I don't actually play the violin. I'm
Ah,
terrible. You know, let's go with things I'm bad at. I can't sing at all. I'm awful at singing, and I'm terrible at drawing. Any kind of performing arts like that, can't do.
I can't sing, but I sing a lot, and my family doesn't appreciate it. So yeah. So you have like any other hobbies? Like when you're not running, like what are you doing?
When I'm not running, when I'm not running, we have a lake, um, kind of sort of in our backyard. It's like 36 acres. I'm out on the lake a lot. I fish. Um, Sometimes I cook. Occasionally, like I'll either cook something or I'll bake something. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. If you could cook a meal for somebody, what's your go to meal? Or like bake something for someone?
Ooh, probably muffins. Make some
Muffins.
or banana bread.
Ooh, I love banana bread. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna, I guess, keep going with like more rapid fire. Are you more? Do you follow the professional running scene?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, so you Ingebrigtsen or Kerr?
Mm. Diamond League meet, that doesn't really matter. Ingebrigtsen. Uh, Anything that matters, Josh Kerr for sure. It's just stats at this point. It's not like
I think Jakob should have moved up to the 5K a while ago.
I think so too, but also his PR in the 5K isn't crazy.
Yeah, but I think that's only because he races at championship.
Yeah, that is.
But if you look at him, the only time he races at Olympic and Worlds. So it's like maybe he could run a fast 5K because he can
Yeah,
beat all these guys that can. So who knows?
no, no. My favorite quote is that uh, I can't remember who posted it. It was some social media account. It was a quote from Jakob Ingebrigtsen saying that he could beat Josh Kerr with a blindfold on,
Oh,
and
well, maybe no context.
yeah, it was like Josh Kerr. I mean, it was Jakob Ingebrigtsen said who got beat by Josh Kerr without a blindfold on says that he could beat Josh Kerr with a blindfold on.
I think it was like regarding like the 2 mile. He just set like a new indoor world record or something.
Yeah,
And then Ingebrigtsen's like, I could beat that with a blindfold on, which is kind of crazy when he hasn't beaten him in a 1500
yeah.
in however long. Yeah. Okay. So if you could only train, or like you could only have one kind of shoe for the rest of your life between trainer, vape, or like super shoe and spike, what would it be?
Just regular trainer for sure. I keep it simple.
Okay. What's your go-to trainer?
Ooh, I don't really have a go-to. Um, right now I'm in the Pegasus 41s. Uh, I'm trying to think what I feel like Nikes just fit my feet really well. A lot of people say they run narrow, but I have narrow feet anyways. So yeah, probably just a Nike Pegasus. It's just
Okay.
the easy, simple shoe.
Yeah. Okay. So this is kind of changing it up a little more random again. Out of everybody on your team, who would you say brings like the best energy? And yeah, how does that impact you as like an athlete, bringing the energy from someone else in your team or thriving off them?
There's all kinds of energy on our team. Um, I'd probably say Camp Jennings or Jet Richardson. Jet is a little unknown guy. He's one of our JV kids. He's
I
hilarious.
know Jet.
You know Jet?
I went to running camp with him.
Oh, I love Jet, dude. He's hilarious. Jet's he's something
I
else.
I just forgot his name, but he has blonde curly hair.
No, he does not have blonde curly
No,
hair.
not Jet.
Oh, who?
Another kid.
Blonde curly hair. Maybe Braven.
I don't,
Maybe
he's a freshman too. I know that.
he's a fresh
But
curly hair.
we were all on the volleyball team together, and we got dogged by everybody. So it was pretty brutal. Yeah, I think I can't remember his name, but I know I'm confident he goes to Carrollton, and he's a freshman.
We don't have any freshmen with blonde curly hair. We
I'm
have a
almost, I'm
we have
almost positive.
we have a sophomore named Will Rogers. He's real short.
I don't think it's in.
Hmm.
I'll have to figure this out.
We only had like 3 kids go to that running camp.
Who were they? Like I know Jet was one of them.
I think Jet is the only one I can name. I think it might have been I think maybe Preston Altman, who's a sophomore and his hair is brown and curly. And then uh yeah, I really don't know. Maybe it's just them two.
Okay, this is really bugging me. I'm gonna have to find this out now.
If you can find a picture of y'all two, I'll be able to figure it out.
I know I have him added on Snap too, and I like have his name. I just can't remember, and I may actually go check real quick.
All right, let me know.
I guess while I'll check, I'll ask you one more like another question, so
All
it
right.
doesn't get too repetitive. If you could like move on, would you go on to professional running if you had the option?
Yeah, 100%. That's my goal. My goal is to do at least
Mhm.
something on the professional scene. I'd like to win some sort of Olympic medal, preferably gold. Um,
Yeah, Emery Fairclough.
Emery Fairclough. Yeah, I know Emery. Emery's
Okay.
funny. Okay, I didn't know Emery went.
Yeah, he did.
Okay, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, he's not. He's on our cross country team, but he's not on our track team. I don't think.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, yeah, I like Emery. Real nice.
Hmm. Okay, that was bugging me, so I'm happy I found out. Yeah. So, have you ever, I mean, if you did run professionally, who'd you want to be signed by?
I don't know anything about the culture. I've heard some bad things about Nike, but
Hmm.
Nike would be cool to run for. On AC, that'd be really cool. With Dathan Ritzenhein as a coach and everything. I've never heard
Yeah.
bad about that whole program, and they produce some really good runners. I mean, Yard and a Goose.
Hmm. So, I think I've only heard bad things on the women's side of Nike,
Yeah. Well, and it's
but
also Alberto Salazar, and he
yeah.
so I don't know.
So, I don't know, but I think On would be sick.
Yeah.
Um, do you plan? What event do you think you would like compete in if you do end up making it to the Olympics or world stage or anything along those lines?
Man, I really don't know. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't go run the 100, but
Yeah.
probably 1,500 or 5,000.
Okay. So do you think you're more of like a middle distance, getting up to that longer distance kind of guy?
Yeah, I don't think I quite have the 10,000 in me.
Hmm.
I mean, I might. I have no idea. I've never raced the 10,000. Or actually, I did in like eighth grade. Maybe I raced the 10K on the road. I don't remember my time. I think it was like a 32 something.
That's still a solid time.
Yeah.
Okay. So, if you do like, do you think you'll move up to the marathon if you run professionally? You ever see like anything
If
like that?
fit for it. I mean, there's been a couple good American distance runners. They don't have the best rep. Uh, not too many medals won in that category. We're a little overshadowed by the Ethiopians and the Kenyans.
I mean, Conor Vance was getting him up there today.
Yeah,
He's in he's in the race.
throwback like Ryan Hall. He was pretty good.
Oh, yeah. I think if like if Grant Fisher moved up now, he'd be one of the guys.
Yeah, I feel like if Grant Fisher moves up to the marathon, it'll be too late in his career, and
Yeah, that's how I'm feeling.
he'll be 34, 35, or whatever by the time he moves up to the marathon, and you still got about a year of adjustments to get,
Hmm.
because very rarely people come out swinging on their debut marathon, unless
Yeah.
you're Kelvin Kiptum. But
Hmm. So
not
here's a little fun fact. Kelvin Kipton actually follows me on Instagram,
really.
and he can never unfollow me, unfortunately. But at the same time, it's kind of cool.
That's a huge flex, though.
I know. People, I'll like tell people, "Oh yeah, he follows me," and they'll be like, "No way." I'll pull it up. It's kind of funny.
You think
I
Kelvin is a goat or Elliot Kipchoge is a goat?
oh, I have to say, Elliot. He's done so much for the sport.
Yeah. I mean, you want to say Elliott, but at the same time, Kelvin Kiptum does have
Hmm.
he has the world record, and world records are what mostly matters. But at the same time, Kipchoge has the medals and has more wins. But
Yeah,
Kiptum's career was cut short, so it's hard to compare the two.
yeah. I feel like yeah, you can't really compare them, but me, Elliot is just like he's been so dominant for so long, and
Yeah,
at the same time, he's like he's done a lot for the sport. He's like spoken a lot, like, and he's just like been like that, like kind of a guy who people
yeah.
look up
Oh,
to.
which how did he do at the Boston this today?
I don't think he raced at the Boston today.
I thought he was supposed to race at Boston.
Maybe he's racing at London on
Maybe.
Sunday.
Yeah, no, it is London because I remember I saw a post the other day. I had it mixed up in my head that he was right.
Uh,
I saw that.
yeah. I had school off today for an Easter break, and
Y'all
I,
have Easter break.
I go to a Christian school,
Uh,
so, and I spent today going on an easy run when I woke up, and then watching the Boston Marathon. So, it's been quite the day.
Marathons are a hard watch. Those and
Yeah,
NASCAR races, you just it gets a little tiring.
yeah. I was using Normatec boots and playing Clash Royale for a majority of it. So, but it was a fun race to watch at like the last mile. Yeah. Okay. So I don't really have any more questions for you. If you have any for me, I can answer them. If not, I'll wrap it up.
Okay, this is kind of going on our rapid fire question that you
Oh,
were.
okay.
This is a big topic today at practice. Should gambling be in running? Should we make it? Should it be structured?
Oh, definitely, 100%.
All of our team agreed. I totally think it should be in. It would be more money for the athletes. It'd be way more interest, and then also it's. I feel like it's easy to do. I guess there's not as much of a variability
I
because.
mean, it's just like horse betting.
But yeah, exactly. Which it's human beings, not horses. But at the same time, you can still have some sort of. There's all upsets happen all the time.
Yeah. I mean, imagine like being the one guy who bets on Cole Hawker in the Olympic
Yeah,
1500.
that's what I'm
That'd
saying.
be so fun.
There should be a little segment on whatever those prize picks or whatever it is, all those,
Yeah.
at least just online betting. And then that could parlay into larger betting how it is on golf, where you go to the tournament, you put a lot of
Mhm.
money on it, and it's more of an upscale type of thing.
But yeah, I mean, even with like the new Grand Slam track, I feel like it's going to be kind of a gateway to
Yeah.
betting on people.
Hope so. I hope Michael Johnson opens in a little
Oh, that'd be so cool.
betting.
I may have a gambling addiction then. Not gonna lie.
Well, at least it's going to what you love and not
Yeah,
baseball or whatever.
yeah. So that'd be good. All right. Anything else?
That's all I can think of.
Okay. Is there anything you just want to like tell people, like say something about yourself, like how people like something like that?
Mm. My teammate today, Carson Haley, came up with a quote, uh, and I told him I was going to steal it. I'm not actually going to steal it, but he said the key to, or he said, what did he say? He said the key to tomorrow's success is today. Whatever you do tomorrow determines, or
Oh,
today determines how tomorrow will be.
that's pretty tough. I'm not gonna lie.
I know. We said we needed to get it on a bumper sticker.
You know what I'm gonna do? You know how like when they do the post and they have a little quote at the bottom? I'm
I
gonna put that at the bottom for you.
I already made that. I already made that Strava caption.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I have a quote for you too. I guess I'll end it out on.
All right.
This was made by a thrower on my team. Just because it didn't rain today doesn't mean you're in a drought.
That's real, dude. That's
That
real.
that was pretty tough. And he says it all the time, so it's kind of getting played out, but it's all right.
Can't, dude, you can't milk it.
Yeah. So it was pretty tough quotes to end the video. So thank you, man. So you just cut out.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Oh, of course. Have a great rest of your night.
All right. Thanks. You too.